Just practice. From the December 25th, 2018 talk, Christmas Day, afternoon talk. None of you can understand Burmese or Thai, right? In English, today is Christmas Day, and all of you came to offer lunch to the monks and the nun and the meditators. And these two ladies came to offer Sanghadana and to dedicate a portion of the merit to their parents and others who have passed away. They came to show their gratitude to these loved ones. Everyone needs to understand the kindness of their parents. We can replace things, or even people in our lives, but our parents are irreplaceable. That's why we need to know their kindness and have gratitude. We need to return their kindness when they're still alive. When they pass away, we can do dana, sila, or bhavana and dedicate a portion of the merit to them. This is how to return our parents' kindness. But we should especially do so when they're still alive. We should try to be good daughters or sons and make our parents happy. This is very important. Even if you can't do much for your parents, as parents they feel that they don't need anything from their children. They just want to give. But what do they need? They want their children, their son or daughter, to be a good son or daughter. If you behave as a good daughter or son, your parents will be happy and proud of you. This is how we return our parents' kindness. I'd like all of you to try to be a good daughter or son. What do you have to do? At minimum, you need to uphold your moral conduct, the 5 precepts, firmly and purely. And you need noble living, loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity in your heart. And every day, do some chanting. Chanting means recollection of the Buddha's doctrine, and the Buddha's holy disciples. This is one kind of bhavana, tranquility meditation. And also, practice insight, vipassana meditation. This means we return the Buddha's kindness by practice. So I'd like all of you to be a good daughter, a good son, and a good Buddhist. Good Buddhists try to follow the 5 precepts firmly. You should possess loving kindness and compassion in your heart. And don't forget to recite the virtues of the Buddha, and so on. If possible, do the Parita chanting, Karanya Metta Sutta and Mangala Sutta, and so on. And practice meditation every day. This will bring the greatest blessing to your life. 321. The collected teachings of Luang Por Chaya. May all of you gain peace and happiness. Evening talk. Good evening, everyone. Today's the second day of us reciting the holy chanting. Yesterday I was talking about root condition. We do wholesome and unwholesome deeds, and the latter is based on greed, anger, and delusion. If we do something wholesome that's based on non-greed, non-anger, and non-delusion. These are the 6 roots as conditions. Today I would like to talk briefly about object condition as it regards meditation practice. Because of the external 6 sense objects as conditions, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, and body consciousness, as well as wholesome and unwholesome consciousness, arise. If no external objects appear, there's no consciousness that arises. So everything has a cause. There is cause, and there is effect. No one created this. It depends on the cause, and then the effect arises. It's just mind and matter, interrelated as cause and effect. We need to understand this truth, and then you will not see someone as a person, as a man or woman. This patthana, this holy scripture, is very important for all meditators. We cannot stop visible objects and so on from arising. But when you see something, it's just seeing. Because of a visible object, we see the object. Seeing. Consciousness arises. If you practice meditation, and a visible object arises, whether good or bad, it's just seeing. When we practice meditation, it's just seeing, just seeing, not beyond that. And so no unwholesome consciousness arises. The Buddha taught us to practice this meditation. Whatever you see, hear, smell, taste, or touch, It's just seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, or touching. The last part of this reflection deals with the six sense objects and the wholesome consciousness or unwholesome consciousness, and sometimes functional consciousness that arises. What we need here is the guardian, awareness or mindfulness. If you lack awareness or mindfulness, you have no guardian. If you don't guard your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, only unwholesome consciousness will arise for sure. As an ordinary person, when you see some desirable object, greed arises right away. See that? I like that. It's very beautiful. So you see something as beautiful, or you see a man or a woman, and you like what you see. If you don't practice meditation or study Buddhism, you won't 322, just practice understand. That's why people go to a concert or shows, right? Just 2 hours, but how much do you have to pay? $200 to $300. A waste of your time and money. Oh, I like that. This is greed without knowing it. But people enjoy it, right? Whenever you see or hear or smell, taste, or touch a desirable object, greed arises. This is lobha. Lobha is unwholesome consciousness. During the holiday season, how many people come to the temple versus go to the casino? Think about that. You see that, right? It's because people don't understand how to use their time, use their life, use their money to be meaningful. They enjoy seeing, hearing, and so on, because they don't understand that it's unwholesome consciousness. It's based on what? Based on objects. See that? Objects. These objects as condition, as the cause. When you stay at the temple, what do you see? Just the Buddha, the monks, the meditators. You see, our devotees come and perform meritorious deeds. You feel happy about this and are proud of them. See that? This is wholesome consciousness. But if you go to the outside world, what happens? All of you know better than me. I've never been to a casino. I've just heard, and I can guess. You've experienced this, right? Object condition. If you use it the right way, the proper way, it's wonderful for our lives. We need to guard our eyes. Don't follow your desires. Don't follow your greed. We need to understand what happens to our mind. We need to study the Buddha's teaching, especially when he talks about mind. From the time you wake up in the morning until you fall asleep, what happens to your mind? Wholesome thoughts or unwholesome thoughts? Which one is heavier? Think about that. Mostly, there's just lobha, dosa, or moha, greed, anger, or delusion. That's why we need to practice meditation. Try to be aware of whatever happens to our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. This is very, very important. We've talked in detail about seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. Just examples, right? I give these examples so that you can understand. This is not to understand the scripture, it's to understand our daily life. And then we can improve our life. Otherwise, only the unwholesome, akusala, will arise. Many, many times, uncountable times. Sometimes you see an undesirable object, you don't like it, and so you say, I don't like that. I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that, and so on. What happens to your mind? What happens to your thoughts in that moment? It's anger. Dosa. I don't like that. See? Listen to the essence of the voice. I don't like that. This is anger. I like that. This is greed. 3, 2, 3. The collected teachings of Luang Por Chaya. What do we need? We need mindfulness. Just be aware of whatever you see, hear, smell, taste, touch, or think about. If it's an undesirable object, for instance, it's just seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, or touching. Don't go beyond that. Don't say, I don't like that, or I like that. If you have mindfulness, wisdom will follow for sure. Mindfulness, concentration, wisdom. They are working together. So we need mindfulness. That's why we practice mindfulness meditation. We train our mind to see, to realize, every physical activity and mental process. Whatever happens to your thoughts, sensations, feelings, or emotions. And whatever your physical activity is, try to be aware of it. Think about this. One day has 24 hours. You sleep for 6 hours, and so in the remaining 18 hours, what happens to your thoughts? Are they wholesome or unwholesome? You know yourself, right? Try to allow wholesome consciousness to arise. From the time you wake up, try to be aware of whatever you're experiencing. Know when you're waking. Know when you want to get up. Know when you want to stand. Know when you want to walk. So every intention, just be aware of it. And then, every step you take, you have to know it. His is mindfulness. Otherwise, you'll be thinking about what you're going to see, what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear today, just thinking about eating and clothes and so on. See that? If you like it, it's lobha. Sometimes your mind wanders and you're not really aware of anything. This is moha, or delusion. Delusion is when you don't realize what's happening with your mind or body. That's why we need mindfulness. That's why the Buddha taught us to practice mindfulness meditation. Try to be mindful as much as you can. In one day, from the time you get up in the morning until you go to bed at night, how many steps do you walk? Many, many thousands of steps, right? I would like all of you to try something for one day. Put your cell phone away in your pocket. And for one day, try to know how many steps you walk. How many steps will you be able to be aware of? You can test your mindfulness this way. In one day, someone walking in and out, up and down, maybe takes over 10,000 steps. But they might not even realize one step. See that? Try this and you will know for yourself, oh, today I'm 0. You get nothing. Try to be mindful. Meditation practice is not just sitting meditation. You can practice in any posture, everywhere you have to walk, every day. Try to be mindful of every step. For example, when you walk, you say walking, walking. The walking and the noting mind arise 324 just practice together and disappear together, one after another, and there's no greed, anger, or delusion to arise. We need to practice this very wonderful technique. Mindfulness meditation is how we purify our mind from greed, anger, and delusion. Every day you have to see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and think about things, right? We have these 6 sense objects as condition. We are Buddhists. Our goal, at minimum, is to gain the first stage of enlightenment and become a Sotapanna, or stream enterer. If you really want to gain enlightenment, you need to practice mindfulness meditation. Even if you don't have a chance to go to a meditation center or to a temple, you can practice this at home or at work. If you're able to be aware for 1 second, 1 moment, this means you gain 1 second, 1 moment of wholesomeness. In that moment, no greed, no anger, and no delusion arose. Because you were able to focus on your body, your sensations, your thoughts. In that moment, you gained concentration, samadhi. And you realize the nature of this phenomenon, so there's panya, or wisdom. So in every moment you can gain concentration and wisdom. Keep doing this every day for the rest of your life, and your life will become better and better for sure. You won't need to ask a fortune teller or ask someone else. You'll know for yourself, because Sanditiko, whoever practices meditation, will be able to realize and know for themselves. This doesn't happen through the scriptures or a book or from listening to a Dhamma talk. It's from your practice. These 6 sense objects as condition, we need to use this properly. We need to use this technique, this method that the Buddha taught us. Try to be mindful. If you see, it's just seeing. If you hear, it's just hearing. Whether it's a desirable or undesirable object doesn't matter. If you have mindfulness and wisdom, there's no room for unwholesome consciousness to arise. We need to know this for ourselves. Think about the many, many times unwholesome consciousness arises in one day. How many times do you think it arises over the course of a year? And for the rest of our lives, we have to receive the bad consequences of that. And in the next life, too. It's not everyone who understands this point. We are Buddhists, and therefore fortunate to know how to use our lives to be meaningful and beneficial. I would like all of you to reflect on how whatever you see, you hear, you smell, you taste, you touch, or you think about, these six sense objects, these external objects, will not last long. These things are just 325, the collected teachings of Luang Porchaya arising and disappearing, only temporary. When you practice meditation, you say seeing or hearing, to see their nature, to stop this lobha, dosa, and moha. When you see their nature, you'll see that all the objects will disappear. Even our internal six sense bases, our eye sensitivity, air sensitivity, nose sensitivity, tongue sensitivity, and body sensitivity, are also just arising and disappearing. They're impermanent. Every bit of matter is just arising and disappearing in every second, in every moment. To see this impermanence of mind and matter, we need to practice meditation. The external objects and internal six sense bases are impermanent, but how about seeing consciousness and so on? Your seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, all this consciousness is also impermanent, arising and disappearing, one after another. This is why we need to practice meditation. When we gain concentration, mindfulness, and wisdom, we will see the nature of phenomena in every moment. We will see that nothing is permanent. So we practice insight vipassana meditation to see the phenomena of mind and matter as impermanent, as suffering, and as of non-self nature. You cannot control these objects or phenomena. You cannot control your eyes and so on. It's beyond your control. As you practice meditation, you will see this in detail. Nothing is permanent and nothing is controllable. When you see this through your practice, when you accept this impermanence and uncontrollability, whatever you come across in your daily life you can let go of very easily. Otherwise, as you attach to all of these objects, there'll be lobha or greed, and sometimes anger. See that? And when you see, hear, smell, taste, or touch, and you don't pay attention to the object, your mind wanders. This is delusion or moha. So every day, in every moment, it's mostly just lobha, dosa, and moha, greed, anger, and delusion, arising. That's why the Buddha taught us everything we need to understand nature, to understand the truth, to overcome suffering, and to gain enlightenment. We need to go step by step. The Buddha explained about all of this in detail: how to practice, how to think about things, how to deal with thoughts, sensations, emotions, and so on. So I would like all of you to not only do chanting, but also put into practice what the Buddha explained about the six sense objects. Be mindful of whenever you see the six sense objects. That is, be aware anytime you see, hear, smell, taste, touch, or think about something. Even if you don't see it with your physical eye, sometimes it's a mental object that arises. You close your eyes, especially at night, and although you 326, just practice don't see or hear or smell or taste anything, your mind still sees some vision, and if you don't practice meditation, you'll think about it and feel sorry or happy about it. See that? Or maybe you'll get mad about it. Try to watch your mind, watch whatever happens to your mind, your thoughts. If you feel sorry about something, sorrow is one kind of anger. What do we need to do? If we feel sorry about something, just try to realize it. Be aware of it. Make a mental note. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Sorrow has arisen, but when you realize it, there's now wisdom. When wisdom arises, there's no longer sorrow. Sorrow or anger and wisdom cannot arise together. This is why we need to watch our thoughts. If you feel sorry about something, it's just, sorry, sorry, sorry. Label it, and then you'll know the sorrow arising and disappearing. Sorrow is also impermanent. You'll see its nature. Sometimes you worry about something. Worry is also a kind of anger. Mostly we worry about family, children, business, health, so many kinds of things. This worry is a kind of anger. If you don't understand that, you just keep worrying every day. If you worry about something for 5 minutes, it means you wasted your time and your life for 5 minutes. Time is very precious. Instead of doing chanting, instead of practicing meditation, and instead of there being wholesome consciousness, you felt sorry or worried about something. This is just unwholesome consciousness, arising on and on and on and on. But it doesn't have to be like that. It's only because of the Buddha's teaching that we have a chance to understand this point. Other religions don't talk about this in detail. That's why we call this meditation mental training. We are training our mind to reduce greed, anger, and delusion. Eventually, we can remove it. I would like all of you to try to be mindful as much as you can. In every physical activity, try to be mindful. Try to watch your thoughts, your sensations, your emotions, and you'll see that everything just comes and goes. After you understand its nature, if you come across an undesirable situation, you can let it go easily. That's the benefit of this meditation. Try to be mindful. May all of you gain concentration and wisdom, and be able to eliminate all of these unwholesome consciousnesses. May you improve your parami virtue perfection higher and higher. Be free from greed, anger, and delusion, and be happy. 327.